Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It's day 2 of the Day of the Dead designed cake class. Yesterday, we covered our cakes in buttercream using the acrylic method. We paneled fondant around our cake. We started our wafer paper flowers, and if you're doing this class with us, along with us, I hope that you are all caught up and that you're ready to stack the cakes, add our flowers. Well, we're going to paint Our Lady first and then add our flowers, and we'll be done. So we're going to start today with stacking our cakes. And we can do this together, ladies. So everybody go get your bottom tier cake only out of your fridge and your 6 drinking straws or milkshake straws and scissors, and join me here in just a few minutes. Okay. We have our beautiful, crisp, and very chilled cake. It's already on its display board, so we don't have to transfer it. I hope that you guys have your air conditionings on so that your environment is nice and cool, because this is buttercream underneath this fondant. And we don't want it to soften up on us too much while we're going to be working on. Our cakes are going to be sitting out for the next 4 hours together. Okay, so if you have your acrylic disc for the top tier with you, you can use that, or you can use a parchment round, the 5-inch parchment round. I actually like to use a parchment round because if you remember the 5-inch cake, there's a 5-inch board, and the acrylic, there's going to be that 1/4 inch of buttercream exposed. I want to make sure that I stick my drinking milkshake straws in to support the board that top tier is sitting on. So, but you can also use this, and just remember you'll have to bring your straws in about 1/2 inch to 1 inch inside of that marking. So I'm going to start with a parchment round. I'm going to place that in the center of my cake, just lightly. You can take a knife or an X-Acto blade or anything you have that will help you sort of score a light line around your parchment paper. So just scoring, and I don't have this on a turntable. Please note, no turntables. So I'm just scoring a light line around my parchment, 5-inch parchment paper, and that will just give me an idea of where to place my straws. Now, we use straws, in case anyone doesn't know, to support the weight of the top tier. We don't rely on cake to support the weight of the top tier. So that's what the straws are for. I have 5. I like to use 6. I don't know where my 6th one went, but 5 is fine too. Typically, the rule of thumb for supports for the tier below is however many inches the top tier is, that's how many support straws you need. So because we're using a 5-inch, or if you're using a 6-inch, then you would use 6 straws. If you're using a 5-inch round cake to go on top, then I'm using 5 straws. So just inside that marking, you're going to try to do it very straight and place one straw in your cake. Because we did a good job of leveling our cakes, and I typically have very level cakes because of my acrylic method. I don't mark one, pull it out, and then cut the rest of your straws. I just stick all of my straws in. So directly across from the one I just put in, I'm going to, inside my marking, I'm going to place another straw. And then I'm going to place a third straw sort of like in a triangle point. Again, inside and in. And then I'm going to evenly space out my next two straws, making sure I'm inside that line and doing my best to make them go in straight. Okay, so I have 5 straws. Okay, that is typically all you need. This is a small tiered cake, so we'll be just fine. Remember, ladies, I would love to see your actual work that you're working on. Your faces are lovely, but I would like to see your cakes. Thanks, Tisha. Great. So now with your scissors in hand, if you'll just watch me for one of these, you're going to, if you'll notice that I'm going to grab the straw, literally, and I might even damage my fondant just slightly around the straw. I'm going to grab it there. You see my scissors are tilted up. I'm then going to pull up. Make sure you grab it good. I'm going to pull up, keeping my scissors right there, and I'm going to level my scissors off. And I slipped, sorry. Again, pull up, level your scissors off, and cut. And then push it down. So one more time, grab it at the base, pull up, level your scissors off, and cut. Grab it at the base, level off, and cut. Again. And there we have it, nice and flush to the top of our cake. How are we doing? Keisha, on your next two, I'm concerned that you're going to dig into your cake. So pull that straw up a little bit higher so that you don't have a chance to hurt the edge of your cake. There you go. And just perfection. You need some better scissors. Did you just get popped? Get you some better scissors. You're struggling too much with those scissors.
Cara, this is Pilar. I have a question.
Yes.
I got 2 types of straws. This is a smaller one, but it's sturdier. And this is, I don't know if this is what you call a bubble tea straw, but this is more flexible.
Yeah, so, I don't like using those.
Okay, okay. Because
I like using the milkshake straws, yes.
Okay, because this is sturdier, and I didn't like how these behaved. So
yeah, they're fine. I hear people use them well all the time. I just prefer that one that you're holding.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody good? Are we all trimmed and looking beautiful? Oh yes. Okay. Great. Now, if you can do one of two things. I like to use a little bit of vodka, or in my case, Everclear. And I like to put a little just like a teaspoon of vodka here on my fondant. The other thing you can do, if you have it ready, is you can add a little bit of melted chocolate. Okay, so whatever you have available for you right now, and you don't need a lot, you guys. You don't need a lot of, if you're doing the melted chocolate, just put a couple of dabs, but don't put it on until right before we lift our second tier. So I'm going to go get my second tier, and you do the same, and we'll meet right back here. Okay. So because we paneled the fondant, there is a seam right here on both cakes. So we definitely want to line up our seams in the back. So whatever method, if you're going with a little bit of vodka or Everclear or the melted chocolate, I want you to add that right before we lift our cake. So you guys can watch me demo this, and then you guys will have your chance. So don't add anything yet to your cakes. Just eyes on me. I'm going to use a little bit of vodka. And I don't even think it's a full teaspoon. Right there on the center. I'm going to, look how easy I can pick up that chilled cake. And I'm going to line up my cake with that back seam. And we're good. Okay, your turn. Let me see. Remember, if you're going to use a little bit of the chocolate, then you want to do that right before you lift. You guys are looking good. Wasn't that easy to pick up that cake? Awesome. Very nice. We've got tiered cakes. I love it. All right, we're all stacked. Yay. Okay, now it's time to dowel. Now, there's a couple ways that we could have doweled this cake. But today we're just going to go straight from the top down, which is going to leave a hole, but I'm not worried about that hole because in an essence, you're not even going to see it because it'll be covered with flowers. But another way to dowel is to, and I apologize you guys right now for the noise, my family is home. I couldn't kick them out 2 days in a row, so hope you don't mind a little noise in the background. So one of the ways that you could have done it is we could have pre-drilled holes in our cardboard before we stacked our cake, and then we could have inserted our dowel and then threaded our cakes down onto that. That's a little bit more, it takes a little bit of practice, I want to say. So I opted not to do that for this class because this way is perfectly fine too. So what you want to do is you have your dowel. I typically use a thicker dowel than this, but I ran out. So this dowel will be fine because it is a small tiered cake. So I'm not too concerned, and it's pretty sturdy. You want to take your dowel and you want to sort of measure it where you think so that it doesn't come out the end, top of your cake. Before you do that, you want to make sure you sharpen the one end of your dowel. You can use a pencil sharpener like so and get a nice sharp point. And 1 second, I need to get a lollipop stick. Oh, look, I found the bigger dowel. But I'm going to use this one anyway. Okay, so once we measure about how far down, about right there, you can either use a knife to cut it, or I like to use these little wire clippers, especially for these thin dowels, and just snip it off. So now you see it will not poke out from the top of my cake. So finding center. Actually, I'm going to go a little bit off center. You insert straight, and then you're going to find some resistance because you are now hitting that cake board that sits under our top tier. You're going to give it a little push and get it to go through. Insert it all the way, and this is when you can use either the part that you clipped off to help push it down even further and into your cake board, your cake drum that your entire cake is sitting on. Lock it in place, and now you're left with a little bitty hole right there. And what you can do to fill in that hole is you can take a little bit of fondant, tiny, tiny bit, roll it into a ball, and about the size of the hole, and just sort of pat it in. Again, I'm not worried about, if you don't want this look, if maybe you don't have anything covering the top of your cake, then you can just learn how to sort of thread your cakes down onto a dowel. And I know I have some videos that I did on Periscope. You can find how I thread a cake down onto a dowel on catch.me/kbustos329. And you can see that. Okay, this is good to go. How are you guys doing? Are we all dialed in? Diana, you're good? Felicia? Keelan, you're good? Awesome. Keisha? We're working on Keisha. Tisha? All right, Tisha's good. Nice. Okay. If you guys want to put your cakes in the refrigerator for the next step while we do some other work with our lady, you can, and we can bring our cakes back out in about 10-15 minutes. So I like to keep my cakes cold. It's cold and as long as possible. Okay, so I'm going to go put my cake in the fridge. You can do the same, and meet me back here with your printed out ladies, your parchment paper, and your pencils. Okay, just trying to clear up some space so you guys can see what I'm doing here. I have to lift up so I can see you guys. I'll wait for everybody. And you can certainly have a seat and get comfortable. We'll be doing mostly the rest of this sitting down so we can relax a little bit. We're now designing our cake. We get to decorate our beautiful canvases now. So you should have two printed out. You may have printed this with colored, and that's fine. This is just our reference photo. And I'm not sure of the artist of this drawing. I can find out. I forget her name. But I saw this online, and I just thought it was really a pretty, she was just gorgeous. She was just a gorgeous lady. And when I looked at the photo, I was looking for what I could use to sort of outline her so I can recreate her on my cake. So I found that she looked fairly easy in a sense, and she didn't have, there wasn't a lot of details that I couldn't sort of wing it in a sense if I couldn't get it exact. So I thought that was fairly easy. So what I did was on my PDF, or on my, I'm sorry, my Word program, is I printed her, I flipped it over, I flipped the photo over, and then I changed the image to, I believe, a copy. Now I cannot remember what setting I used to get her to blow out the lines, the traceable lines that I wanted. So that's why you have a copy of this. So I sized this to what I believe would fit both top and bottom tier of my cake. And I think it should work for everybody, but we'll show you how to line it up on your cake later. In the meantime, what we need to do is we need to create a transfer. So that's what our parchment paper is for. So you want to lay your parchment paper, you want to line it up. You might need a little bit of tape. If you have any tape nearby, you can grab that. And I lined up my parchment paper so that the bottom of the paper lines up with the bottom of the image, like so. And then you can trim off the rest of your parchment. My parchment is kind of long. So for now, I'm going to leave it as it is, and I'm going to add a little tape. So I'm just adding tape to the corners. One corner. And I'm going to trim off the rest. Okay, don't need that. And a little bit more tape to this corner. Okay. So there we have it. Is everybody good? Okay, so if you look, I can still see through my parchment paper, which is great. And now the things that you guys can trace as much as you want, but what you really need to worry about mostly is the outline of Our Lady. We want to get the outline and maybe her mouth, sort of the features, her nose, the side of her face here, her hairline. So that's what we want. So things that you know you would feel more comfortable if you had it traced out, that's what you want to do. So all I'm doing is I'm taking a pencil, number 2, regular pencil, and I am just starting to outline my lady. I'm pressing pretty firmly and outlining her. So wherever you see, and some of her lines are sort of thick, and you can certainly, and I'll show you just one second, if you can see, I'm tracing over sort of the dark black shadow line, like so. I'm also going to trace here, because that's going to give me an idea not to miss shadows for her. I'm going to trace down her, this looks like hair coming down. And that's what your reference photo is for too, guys. You're looking at your reference photo too. So you know what am I tracing here? What is that supposed to actually be? That's like hair, so I want to make sure I'm tracing that. I want to trace her lips and the side of her face, the little cross section. And wherever there's white, you definitely don't want to trace around. And then I'm going to trace just all of these, just to give you some reference. And remember, you're pressing down pretty good without breaking your pencil, of course, but you definitely want to get a lot of pencil there. I'm tracing above her hairline here, down the side of her face. That little corner of her nose. I definitely want to get her eyeball. I want to see where her eyes are. That outward circle around her eye. And then she's got this little scalloped thing happening. And I'm also, and I keep referencing again the main picture so I can see, okay, what am I actually doing? So you keep looking at that too. So you know, oh, it extends more because maybe it's hard to see right now. Okay, and then her hairline comes over her eye, like so. I'm not going to worry about You can if you want to, though. I'm not going to worry about these little dots because I think I can handle that without tracing. But maybe I want to do this swoop because I want to make sure I get that right. So I'll do her little swoop. And then I'm going to keep looking. This part of her image looks like her hair, a little bit of her hair on the other side of her face. So I do want to mark this a little bit. So I'm looking at my drawing and just giving me an outline. And I'm going to go all the way around her hair. So just taking a look, making sure I've done as much as I think I need. Maybe I'll do a couple of these lines going up her shoulder. If you want to do some of the flower, you certainly can. Maybe give yourself the center of her flower and a quick sort of rough outline. Remember, it's a flower, so we don't have to be, but if you feel like, oh no, I need every tracing help I can get, then you do that. And you guys, you can translate this into other designs. So if you see a picture and you want it on the cake, this is what we're doing. We're creating a transfer. So, but you know, I feel like I can at least draw an easy flower on her shoulder. So I'm just going to hit a couple of spots around. Does anybody have any questions? Or are we doing good? Awesome. So you don't have to be a famous or great artist. You just have to know how to copy. So if you can copy, you can most likely do a good job. This would be a great idea for an Art Deco cake. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those 50s style cakes and stuff. The same principle. That Marilyn Monroe in those fun colors. You give yourself. What we're doing is we're creating a coloring book for ourselves, and we're going to add it to our cake. So again, however much you feel you need to trace, you do that. I think I'm going to do that little heart on her forehead because I want to get that one right. And this little line. So once you feel like you have traced as much as you feel you need, then you want to go back over your lines again with a little more pencil. Just make sure you got enough pencil marking on all your traceable lines. Okay. So there's my girl. Looking good, guys. So far, so easy. It's not hard, right? Okay, I'll give you guys a few more minutes. Let me know if you need longer than a few more minutes, but I think you guys are pretty good. And if you are very artistic, you're good at drawing, then it does not have to be exact, obviously, but we want a general outline for her, and you guys can change her up too if you want to. If that's me personally, I just like to stick to the picture. You too, Tisha? Right. I just want to stick to the picture because I don't have a lot of thought after that. But I think I'm good at tracing. Like, I think I can handle tracing and copying, so to speak. Let's see, Pilar. Nice. Very nice. You don't have to do her flowers, though, you guys, in her hair, obviously, because we're putting real our wafer paper flowers over that, so that is not necessary. And you don't have to worry too much about her hair. Obviously, it blends into the background. I do want you guys to hit this side here, because you'll see when we go to paint, we want to make sure we leave a hint of white shadow along this to differentiate herself from the rest of the black cake. Does that make sense? So you definitely want to grab this line, and you want to grab her hairline here. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready to move on. Tisha is. Diana, I can't see you, so I don't know if you're here. Keisha is. Felicia, you're still working? Are you ready? Okay. We're losing Diana left and right here. Hopefully she'll catch up. Okay. Is your guys' room environment a little cool and slightly chilly? Okay, good. Because we're going to be bringing our cakes out, and they're going to be sitting out for quite some time. Do you guys have your push pins available? And your scissors available? Okay, so I want you to grab your push pins. Keep your pencil ready. And if you need to put your cake up on something, that would be good. So I prefer not a turntable because I don't want the table to turn on you while you're trying to paint. So another Maybe put it on a stack of books, sturdy books, anything that doesn't move but gives you, so that we're not bent over, that it's eye level. Okay? So we'll be right back. Make sure it's sturdy though. And you can go ahead and bring your cakes out. Okay. Push pins. You can release your image from, if you feel you're done, don't release it until you feel you're done. But you can release your image from the paper. Okay, so we're going to do not, very carefully, well, first of all, make sure you find your front of your cake. Preferably not where the seam is, but even if you feel like your front is here and that puts your seam on the side of the cake, then do that. Wherever you feel it is most level and is most eye appealing, pick the best side. And you can even mark your board where you would put a ribbon, so you know where your front is. All right, I might have off. Okay, so that's my front. So being very careful, do not touch this to your cake yet. So do not let the print, actually it wouldn't be that if you did, but we don't want to get any of the pencil mark. So I'm just lining up my girl onto, actually I think I'm going to use her. Instead of this print, actually, oh, forgot we have to turn her around. Turn her around, because this is the direction she's going in. You want to line her up so that her mouth I think I'm going to do this for a second. I just don't want to touch the pencil mark to my cake yet because I don't want it to leave a mark. I'm going to use the paper. I'm going to flip the paper backwards like so and trim off any edge. I just trimmed off this edge from the image. I'm going to, that way now don't worry, I can lay my image down onto the cake like so and position her how I want her to go. And I can see where the line of my cake, my first tier is. So what you can do here is if you can find that line and lightly trace the line where the top edge of your cake is. Oh, I was off. So lining her up again. Feel for the edge of your cake and mark. Mark your line on the paper. It should look like this. Now, on your turning your image to the back side again, line her up, the one that we traced, sort of line her up with that, finding her, okay. So you guys see that? And I can see my marking, my straight mark. Oh, there was a question. When you stack your cakes, you always have a space between the tiers. How do I stop that from happening? I would say that your dowels are maybe too tall. They're extending slightly above that bottom tier, and that's giving you some lift. So maybe you just trim them just a hair shorter so that they sit flush with the fondant, and that should eliminate your. So it's all in. I think it's all in your dowel, Charlene. That was a question from one of our viewers, guys. Okay. All right. So do you guys see where I have the line here? So if you have a ruler near you, you can use a ruler to cut this line. And if you have your X-Acto knife or blade, and I had mine somewhere. I've lost it. 1 second. Okay. So I've got my girl. Let me show you. See if I can move my. Okay, so I've got my girl lined up on the image. Like so. I'm going to take my ruler along that line, and I'm going to cut through my parchment paper and cut it in half. This is how so you should have a clean cut through your image. Oh, you're welcome, Charlene. I'm sorry I didn't see your question earlier. My apologies. Okay, how are we doing? Has everybody got that so far? I'm just trimming off my tape that's being exposed. So this is how you would do this for if you were painting an image on a stacked tiered cake and you want the image to extend to the next. So you would do this process and you would find where it cuts. So finding your center of your cake, I want you to now place your image centered and make sure you line it, the top image, make sure it's lined up. So you can add push pins to keep your image in place, and put the push pins, you guys, where there is a line. So I'm just going to start with the bottom one, and I'm going to add just a couple of pins to make sure she doesn't move on me. Maybe I'll put one down here. We don't want to put too many holes in our cake, but you don't want her to move on you either. Okay, so I have the bottom. And so now I'm going to line up on the top tier. I'm going all the way down to...
This is Tisha. Sorry.
Tisha.
It keeps going back and forth too. Is that Felicia?
If you don't, you have to click my box down below, the one that says click on my box, and it'll put a white frame around my box, and that means it'll stay on me for you. Okay. All right. Do we see her happening, you guys? So exciting. Your girl should look like this. Make sure you flipped your image so that the pencil mark now is touching the cake. So now you understand why I flipped the image to print it out. So that when we trace it, then we're good to go. Then we flip it back over, and now the pencil marks are touching the cake. But we can still see the image on the other side. We're good to go? Diana, I don't see you at all. I see your box, but I don't see you. So hopefully you're still there. If you are there, maybe unmute yourself and let me know you can hear me, but I can't not see you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I see you. I don't know why you can't see.
Yeah, that's okay. Felicia had the same problem that, I trust that you're okay. So if you do have a question, just let me know. Let's see what Keisha's got going on. I see your Keisha, your girl does not look lined up. The top, the top is not quite lined up. Follow her hairline. You don't want crooked faces, ladies. How are you doing, Felicia? You girls? Okay. Keelan, you doing good? All right. I see you now, Diana. I don't know. It's weird. Your connection is a little wonky. I don't know why. You were fuzzy yesterday, too, so I think it's just your connection. But as long as you can see me and hear me, we're good to go. Okay, so I'm going to move forward. I think we're all done. What you're going to do now, ladies, is we're going to go back with our pencil. Not a sharp pencil. Kind of doled out a little bit, which is good because we don't want to poke our cake or rip our paper. We're now going to go back over and retrace everything onto the cake with a light pressure. A light pressure so that the pencil mark will transfer over to the cake. Okay? So just going back over. And I like to do like a little scribble motion. I don't know why, I just do. Hopefully your cakes are still well chilled. Because occasionally you might have to rest your hand on it. But be cognizant that you're not damaging your cake at all. You're being very aware. I'm going to turn it a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. This is when we need some music. What y'all want to listen to? To me, this is like the fun. Who likes this part of cake decorating? Painting on a beautiful cake canvas or decorating a canvas. So now you guys know how to fool people into thinking you know how to paint. It's all an illusion, people. It's all an illusion. That's all it is. But there are some really good actual painters, cake decorators, and they're amazing. Me, I like to cheat and figure it out. Okay, I'm halfway done. Okay, I think I'm good. If you feel you are good, I want you to take one pin out and just give a peek. See if the image, if it transferred. And if you think that it's everything that, oh, I know what I forgot to do. Nope, I didn't finish. Forgot her eye. Okay, just making sure. Okay. And you can take your pins out and release your paper. Again, give it a peek first. You think your cake is too far back? I didn't bring to the front. It'll be okay. It might look weird when we're looking at it this way, but when we look back, you'll still see the image. All right, I got my girl on there. You guys can see her a little bit. She's faint. But she's on. I can see her enough to get the job done. Yay! Do you guys see it on your cakes? Let's see, Felicia. Okay, you got a little bit of a glare, but I can see her. Yes. Let's see, Keisha. Okay, Keisha made sure she gonna see this image. I love it. She's very clear. Good job.
It looks great.
It looks good. Who said that? Felicia?
Yes, I didn't know you could hear me. Yes. Hers look great.
Yes, it did. She's very clear. Okay. Well, now you guys can go ahead when you're ready. Get your black gel colors, your black airbrush colors if you have it. Definitely black gel. Whether we use the black airbrush, we'll see about that. And your black petal dust out, and all of your paint brushes. Clean up your push pins. You can save this for another day if you want to. But definitely keep. And I chose to print her out black and white because I didn't want to get myself confused with the color, because all we're doing is black and white on this cake. Okay? But if you have color, that's fine too. It'll show you where shadows are, shading is, that sort of thing. So I have charcoal black, but don't worry, whether you use these things or not, it will be up to you and your comfort level, but we'll see how it works out. I've got my gel, give it a shake. Got a paint palette here. Put some in my palette, just a little bit at a time. Don't worry about the dusting yet. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back over with our paintbrush. I got these on Amazon. They're for nail art. So they have these really nice fine tips to them. So, be my first time using them. Which one do I want to use? This one looks good. Okay, so I've got a really fine tip. I've got my girl nearby, so I can reference her at all times. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just with my black gel. Don't be scared, guys. Just go for it. Have a steady hand. If you need to put like a stack of books under your elbow, that's a good option. Or like a fondant bucket or something.
Kara?
Who's speaking?
Diana.
Yes.
My cake is like sweating a lot. Should I put it back in the fridge for a bit, or?
What's your temperature in your room? Is it warm?
Well, I have a fan on. I don't have an air conditioning here, but I have a fan on. But yes, it's kind of warm.
That's why it's sweating. Is it sweating really, really bad? I can't tell.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, yes it is.
Well, the problem is that your environment is too warm. And so you almost need to go inside your refrigerator to keep working on this cake. But you can do that. So that's the problem, you guys, that a lot of cake decorators have when they're working with, you know, buttercream cakes and fondant, and they're bringing them in and out of the refrigerator. Is your cake is shocked right now, Diana, because the temperature from your refrigerator went from 38, 40 degrees, and now it's in like an probably a 70 or hotter environment. So now you're getting the condensation. So what I would suggest that you do is maybe you can put a fan direct on your cake, because you're never going to get this done if you have to keep going in and out of the refrigerator, because as soon as you bring it back out, it's going to keep sweating again. Does that make sense? So your cake is going to warm up on you. So you're going to have to be really gentle when working with it, because it's not, like mine is still, it's still very solid and chilled. So I would suggest if you can put a fan on your cake to try to dry where you want to paint your lady, that would be good. I mean, you can put it in the refrigerator, but then you're going to miss doing all of this. Is anyone else having this problem with your cake sweating?
I am.
Is it warm in your environment too?
No, it's 68. It's not sweating that bad, but you can see it's starting to kind of get a little bit condensation, but it's not something that I can't work with.
Okay.
But
Well, keep working on it. If you have a little desktop fan, or if you can find a fan and sort of direct it onto your cake while you're working, that should help.
Okay.
Anyone else? This is why we're doing real cake, you guys. You can see how it's going to work for you, how it works in your environment as well. It is so cold in my kitchen right now. These cakes, even touching them, they're super cold.
One more question, Kara. It's me, Tisha. You said gel for the we're drawing with? Is that what you just said?
Yes. Your black.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
I think because it's a little bit thicker than the airbrush, you can control it better. Okay. So,
Question here.
who's that?
Keisha.
Hi.
Hey, what temperature do you keep your kitchen when you're working with the cake?
I don't have a temperature gauge in here, but let me tell you, I'm cold. Like, a sweater would be nice right now.
I'm at 65 and I'm pretty cold. I think that should
That's
be okay.
good.
Okay.
And again, you only need it to be cold as long as you have your cakes out. Once you know you're done for the day, you can turn that air conditioning off or turn it up again. I know I do. It's quite expensive. So, this is what, we have to sort of figure out how we're working in our environment. So if you don't have air conditioning, and you're trying to use buttercream under your fondant, this is the problem that you may have. And the only thing to really sort of help you with that would be to try to just dry your cake. So with a fan will be helpful. Diana, did you get a fan? Okay, so keep it pointed to your lady, because that's the area we're working on right now. And let me know if you run into any problems. Try to, if you have a really fine tip, try to be cognizant of how much black you're putting on your cake, because you don't want to put too much that the condensation starts making it drip and going crazy on you, and it ruins your image. Okay?
Clara?
Yes.
This is Pilar. I was just wondering if ganache would be a better option if we don't have like an air conditioner.
Yes. Yes, it would be. Matter of fact, I know most of Australians use ganache. When you're using ganache, you don't have these sort of issues too much, because one, your cake can be left out overnight. It doesn't even have to go in the refrigerator. So ganache would have been a better option for you if you don't have a cold environment to work with when you're trying to decorate your cakes. So that's maybe something you might want to consider. That doesn't mean that the filling can't be buttercream, but the outside finish ganache would be a better choice.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Same for you, Diana. Sometimes that's why I go back to say you got to work with what works for you. So if having an all buttercream cake in your environment, maybe you just can't really sell those too much. Maybe your thing has to be ganache because of the way your space is set up. But hopefully, with the fan, Diana, and you, Keelan, that you guys will be fine. All right, let's go for it. So take your black gel, and we're just going to retrace your lines, and being careful. If you feel like you got too much, start slow. And I definitely want to get this outside because I want to see where her hair ends. And we're going to create a bit of a shadow by leaving a tiny bit of white around this outline. I don't know if you saw that. And be very careful, you guys, that you don't get any black on this lip, on this edge of the bottom tier. This has to stay white, crisp and clean. The top of this cake and this stays white. Everything else will eventually get painted black. So just be careful you don't put a goo gobs of paint on your brush that you can't control it. And steady, you can use your other hand to sort of steady yourself. And remember, always referencing your girl so you know what part of what that you're doing. Felicia, are you there?
Yes.
I think I'm hearing your, can you mute yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was. I'm sorry.
And it's also good too to note what part of what that you're drawing. For instance, if we're drawing, I'm drawing this side, and I know that most of this space is going to be painted black. So if I'm, sort of get too heavy on this end, I'm not going to freak out about that because it's going to blend into the rest of the picture. Are we having fun yet? I need a little book or something. 1 second. I'm grabbing me a book so I can rest my elbow on, steady myself. Trying to do this so you guys can still see. Painting this sort of awkwardly. Okay, top tier done. Diana, are you managing okay with the condensation? The thumbs up or yes? Sorry, I'm gonna have to be a little off camera so I can. When you get down to the flour, you don't, you can kind of just, it doesn't have to be perfect at all. And when your paint sort of runs out and it gets a little faded, that's a good thing. Like lighter brush strokes. Again, referencing your picture to see what you're actually painting. So if you can see, like, my brush strokes here are faded a little bit. I'm like using whatever left I have on my paintbrush, and that gives us that sort of shading that you see in the picture. So where there is shading on her body and you want to kind of clean off your brush, you can go back in that area and sorry, sort of brush the remaining part of your black, and now you can start to create that shading. So like, even I'm going to do her neck right now, so if you want to look up. So in the picture, we've got a dark line like right here, and then it kind of swoops into this dark line here. And then it's dark here, and then it sort of fades into her neck. So I'm using whatever left on my paintbrush, and I am pulling in and making that sort of shading. Do you guys see that? So you start with a little bit on your brush, you go to the areas that need to be darkened, and then the areas that are sort of shaded is where you sort of clean off your brush. Like here under her chin, it's dark, and then it's sort of shaded. So now we're kind of coloring in the white around these features that we've just outlined. And her lip starts dark here. So I'm constantly looking at my image, you guys. So where it's really saturated dark, and then when it's sort of faded, then I'm going to clean off my brush where I need it to be more faded. And give her some shading. So like over here where her hairline is, let's start the hair, and then she's got all this beautiful shading. And you can even wiggle your paintbrush a little bit and sort of create some shading. You can also do this with your petal dust. So I'll take a little bit of my petal dust. You can put a little bit in the lid. And if you want to practice before you touch her, just go to, because remember, all of this is going to be solid black that we're going to paint later. You can pick another brush. What brush do I want to use? Use this one. Pick up a little bit of your where's my camera? Your dust. And if you want to just sort of practice some shading, like pick a spot that you know you can cover all in black later and practice. Or you can take a piece of fondant on your board, on your work surface, and practice too. And just sort of make sure I'm on camera. Practice, oh, I should have dipped it more. Practice this shading effect with your petal dust. So, no, to clean that off. Get another parchment paper too to help you. So you can pick some up on your brush, sort of dab it off a little bit on your parchment, and then wherever there's shading, like I'll do her little flower here, you can just dust in a little bit of shading too. And you can also continue to just do the shading with your Americolor gel as well. So you can start to bring in your petal dust to give her some shading. So you can go back and forth between petal dust and your Americolor, whatever you think you can control better. But if you look at her neck on the picture, there's lots of shading on her neck. All the way. So you want to see a little bit of the white, but you want it to be more gray and shaded. So, and again, just going back and forth between dry brush, Americolor gel, like here. This is pretty dark. Under her chin. And then you want to do a little bit of shading. So I'm kind of pulling up my brush strokes, sort of using whatever left I have on my, to go up and give that shading look. I think I've said shading 50 times now. You guys got it, right? I'll stop talking now. I want you guys where her chin, if you look up for a minute, this area, do your best not to touch it yet. This is where we're going to present a little bit of more shading, and I just want to walk you guys through that later. So don't worry about this little section under her chin and around her perimeter here. Okay. We're coloring in, and what are we doing? We're shading. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having fun. Who's having fun? Diana, is that fan helping you? If it's helping you keep your cake dry, then that's great. Do her hair now. I kind of go back and forth. I get overwhelmed, and then I go, okay, I need to switch it up till I can start to see her better. And make sure that you stop, you do not paint over that edge. This needs to stay white. So be careful, very, very careful if you do any shading with dust on the top tier, because it could fall onto your bottom tier ledge, and we don't want that. We want that to be clean, white as possible. And go finish her flower. So is this a $150 cake? Hell no. You give them the hell no. This is definitely takes longer than 3 hours. So I'm just guessing at a flower right now because I didn't really trace too much. So I'm just sort of feeling in, looking at my picture. I feel like you can go wrong with a flower. Just keep drawing petals. Okay, so for the most part, I've got her filled in. Outlined, and now it's about going back in and giving her, bringing in that shading that we were speaking about. Like, I didn't trace this part, and I probably should have, but I need to, in the picture here, we see this shadow here, and that sort of differentiates that that's her arm, then there's a little space, and then her back. So I need to sort of eyeball that. Sort of like a triangle. And fill it in. Being careful you don't get black on your board. Oh, I see her lips. They're coming. Paint her heart, her forehead. I'm going to go for her eyes now. You guys, this cake's holding up okay? Okay, good. Make sure when you get to that eye, you just fill in, but make sure you leave a little dot of white. Oh, I missed you not seeing it. So I'm doing her eye right now, and I'm really making sure I'm paying attention to the drawing. There's a little shade of white right above her eye, so I just want to make sure I leave that there because it just helps find her eye in the picture. And I notice it gets lighter down here. It's darker. Ooh, she looking pretty. Ooh, I see her. Do you guys see how leaving some of the white in her eyes, around her eyes here? And I could use a little more white in her pupil. So I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and just sort of a little bit into the fondant. Scrape away some of that black. Once we get her all shading in and looking pretty, then the rest of the cake we're just going to paint black. You can even choose to airbrush it later, or we can just, for the sake of finishing class, we can just create a box around her and you can go back and finish it later. But the rest of the cake will be painted, except for the top tier, the top of each tier. So this part and this part stays white. We're doing good though. We have 2 more hours. So if you don't mind it, I'm down. It's not going to take long for us to add the flowers, so we're doing really good, guys. Okay, work on the nose. Excuse my screaming kids. So here in her hair, you can see there's some streaks, so it looks like we can see some definition of her hair. So you can try to add that if you want. Just sort of doing like little strokes so that some of the white shows through, sort of curls up. I'm kind of all over the place. Like I said, I get overwhelmed in one section. I have to give that a break and go to another section. So I don't want to mess up. I can't wait to see your guys's. You guys liking it? You guys feel like you're doing a good job? Yeah? Who is anybody here a painter? And painted before? No? So this is not so bad then, right? You feel like you're painting? Feel like you're doing something? So I'm just going to start filling in her hair over on this side. I'm going to do brush strokes, so give some illusion of hair. And I'm not being perfect at all. I'm not trying to overthink it. I am trying to go in the same direction though. And just be careful when you get down to your top tier, the edge, the bottom edge, that you have a more steady hand so that you don't get it on the white. And the reason why that is, why we're not painting this ledge black, is because you won't be able to see her so clearly. So keeping this edge white and then filling in everything else black, then she will stand out. And when you're starting to do her hair, you guys, just try to give her some definition just around her face, because we got to think about where we're going to place flowers. So a lot of this is going to be hidden, but maybe make sure we can see a little bit of hair here, and then the rest you don't have to be so meticulous. You can just sort of get it black, paint it black, because we're covering them up most of her hair, except for down here. You want to try to give some hair strokes coming off of her back before you do a solid black. She is looking so pretty. So now what I'm doing is I'm literally just using whatever I have left on my brush and sort of shading in all of this other area that's white, so it gives it, grays it out a little bit, and I'm going in a similar direction. Again, paying attention to my picture. Okay, where? If you want to do shading with your dust on the top tier, again, just make sure you get as much excess off before you go in, because you don't want it powder to fall. So I'm gonna take a risk and go for it. And a little bit got on there. Yeah, don't do the powder if not on the top tier. Not on the top tier. It still came off a little bit. I think my paint of choice is the gel versus the powder or the airbrush color, because it automatically sort of gives you that shading without you trying. You guys see that? So I'm going to switch to a bigger brush just so I can start to fill in over here where I'm not so concerned about it being anything just black. But for now, I'm going to go in this direction. All this should be covered with flowers. More hair strokes down here. More flower. Okay. Work on our flower a little bit more. How are you guys doing? Is your lady coming to life? I need lots of shading on this shoulder. I'm going to start here and then shade out. So I'm going to start working on this area around her. So if you look at, to differentiate where we're going solid black and where the outline is her, is you just want to make this sort of light shading around your girl. So think about how much shading, and you want to blend out into solid black. So the best thing I think to do is start with somewhat of a drier brush already. So you might want to get some paint on your brush and then sort of, you know, get some of it off. And then just start where her line is, fill in, and then try to skip a little spot and keep it white and shade like a light. Wait, I don't know. Can you see that I'm not there? I'm leaving a little bit of white sort of glow around the edge of her. Go back in, and when I feel like my brush is not. So I'm creating a little glow by leaving just a little bit of white and then going back over, shading it in a little bit so it's not so white, but it's still light. Did you guys see that? So you want to do that all along this perimeter of her. And then of course you'll go back in and shade this a light gray according to the picture. And then the rest will be all black. We just want to make sure that we see her. So for instance, anything on this, look, anything on this side, I don't care. I can make a mistake, all I care. That's eventually going to get all black. So if you want to sort of dry your brush off over here and then go in with a little shading around, you can do that because you're just going to go back over that with paint anyway. So that might help you dry, get it sort of dry on this side, and then go in, keeping a little bit of white shadow. And then I'll paint it so you guys can see. Get my bigger brush here. And when you start to paint the whole cake, just make sure you go in the same direction. And kiss that edge. without getting black on it on the top of your cake. So you guys see what I mean, right? That little bit of glow. Okay. Carry on. She's so pretty. Just love her. Now where I have this sort of hard line, we don't want any hard lines, so just like in makeup, ladies, blend, blend, blend. We want to blend away hard lines, yes? So while it's still kind of wet, just go back in with your smaller brush and just sort of blend into that little white shadow, or white outline. Blend away. When you paint your whole cake, you can switch to airbrush color because it's not so thick. I like the thick gel for painting the lady, but covering the rest of your cake, you can use your airbrush black so it's not so thick. But just be careful you don't drip. Just be careful you're not dripping onto that white. Let me finish up her top.
I have a question.
Who's speaking?
Felicia?
Hey, Felicia.
Can we add vodka to the paint or no?
Yes, if you want to thin it out.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, whatever. This is, this is your trial and error, and if you think you need vodka, then you use it. You guys use what you feel, but test it first. You know what I'm saying? Like, test it on the back of your cake to make sure that's what you were intending for it to do. Can you turn your cake around, Felicia? I'd love to see what you've got so far.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh my gosh. Are you proud of her already?
Yeah, my husband was like, I didn't know you had something like that.
Ah!
So that's why I'm taking the class, boo.
Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. Good job. Anybody else want to show and tell so far? Or you want to wait? Who's showing and tell? Pilar? Pilar! She's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so proud of you. I'm gonna get all teary-eyed. Okay, Diana, let me see. Yep, I see her. I see her. Oh my gosh, you guys are doing so great. Keelan, can I see yours? Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. So where your white is, I want you to blend more and make it more gray and then leave like the tiniest, tiniest bit of white. Who else? What's Tisha doing? Tisha, how you doing? Let's see her. Be careful. You don't, be careful with the cake. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you guys. It's so exciting. I can't hear you. Are you trying to talk to me? I see her. What were you saying? Were you saying something?
I was saying that I don't. I mean, I just hope it's the essence of her. That's all.
I see her. I see her. I think what you're missing is now sort of the shading around, you know, the edge of her hair and down. So we're still working.
Yes. Yes.
Still working. Just be more like where her shoulder right here, it's really, really dark. So you just want to stay dark on the outline and then shade from dark to light gray into her body, over her shoulder. So just be careful with your shading.
Yeah. I don't want to. That's what I'm afraid of. So I'm not gonna look over there. Look at that.
But you're doing great. You guys are doing awesome. I see her. I see her, Tisha. Don't you worry. I see her.
Okay.
Okay, back at it. We're almost, once we get her kind of where we like her, then the rest is really easy peasy, just getting the rest of the cake black. And for those who have never painted before, you guys are doing beautiful. And I'm telling you guys, I am not a painter. I don't sit around painting stuff. So you can do it too, is what I'm saying. And if we have any viewers doing the cake class with us, I really want to see your cakes. I want to see what you guys do, so email me. Again, like even down here by her shoulder, just give her the tiniest bit of white outline. All right. Making sure I keep my white board and my white ledges as crisp as I can. And you're going to have brush strokes by painting the rest of the cake like this. And it doesn't bother me, but if it bothers you, you can always get your airbrush machine out and airbrush But I actually don't think you should. Never mind. Don't get your airbrush machine out because you are bound to get this sprayed on. So I take that back. No airbrushing. So you just have to paint it. That airbrush will get everywhere. We worked real hard on our edges, so let's make sure that the black accentuates our edges clearly. Try not to be as messy as I was just being. So I'm going to see what it looks like from this side. Okay, I see her. I'll go in and do more detail on her flowers, but I think I'm going to start filling her in. Over here. So this part by her back, and we're still trying to accentuate a little bit of hair, but it blends into the all black surface. I'm just doing sort of brush strokes to sort of kind of go in like at an angle, because this part is not going to get covered by flowers, so we want it to sort of blend it in. So I'm going down and then sort of curling, and then I'll be able to continue on. Come on. Okay. We're getting down to it, ladies. We have an hour and 10 minutes left of our class, so I think we're doing really well. Do you guys think you guys can be finished in the next 30 minutes? All right. Or less. If we get done faster, that's even better. Do you guys see how having your air conditioning going, how steady and sturdy your cakes are? We're not even like sweating about them bulging and leaning over, are we? Well, I don't know. Diana might be. How are you doing, Diana? You're good? So-so? Okay. Almost there. Hey, honey. Like my girl?
Looking good.
Thank you. And my students, they're doing so well. The girls look fabulous. Oh, did you take that stuff? Oh, you take that. Are we all working on covering the rest of the cake now in black? Oh, look what I did. Oops, don't touch it. It's in the back. Don't let your paintbrush fall like I did. If it does fall and you get black, you can always take a Q-tip with vodka and just dab at it and then blot it with a clean towel. So I'll show you guys. 1 second. I don't have Q-tips, so I'll use a paper towel. So, to get off your paint, I got a little bit, I know it's hard to see the camera, but I'm going to put a little on, you can do, it's Q-tip would be better. And dab at it. Oh. I really need a Q-tip, so I'm not going to touch that. I don't want to make it worse. Or what I've also done is scraped it off Sometimes that helps. But I really need a Q-tip. Luckily, this was in the back of the cake.
Cara, this is Pilar.
Hi, Pilar.
I have a doubt. Can you help me out?
Yep.
There's this part of my cake. Let me show you. Where the chin and the elbow and the neck are, I did it. I don't know if I did it correctly.
It looks pretty damn good to me. What you talking about? What you talking about, Pilar? It's gorgeous.
Thank
She's
you.
fine. Leave her alone. She is absolutely amazing.
Oh,
That looks awesome.
thank you very much.
Can you guys tell Pilar that she's amazing and she needs to leave her alone?
Great job, Pilar.
That looks great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's amazing, Pilar. So you're fine. Next.
That's amazing.
Thanks,
Amazing.
everyone.
Oh my gosh, Pilar, I'm done. Okay, we just gonna keep it on you because you great. I love the shading that you did. Do you paint, Pilar? Are you a painter?
I used to paint pastels.
See, that's why. See, is she gonna ask me, who has never really painted that much?
Well, I am a student, so
I think I need to be learning from you with this painting. I think it's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And you even painted flowers in her hair.
yes, because I knew I didn't do my wafer paper flowers.
Oh, you needed more flowers. I love it. I love it.
Thank you
Good
so
job. You're good. You're done.
much. Yes,
Okay.
it means a lot.
I'm done too. I
Thank
love
you so
her flower on her back.
Thank you. I'm gonna mute now.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit more shading. How are we doing, guys? Are we almost ready to move on? Okay, if you guys can give me a verbal cue that you guys are ready. State your name and then,
Felicia's ready.
all right, Felicia.
Pilar is
Keisha's ready.
All right, we can go get her done early, y'all. Oh my gosh. We We're gonna be done early. I love it. Okay, well, let's clean up all of our paint. Wash our hands. Clean off our station. Get your white chocolate melt ready, melted. A new paintbrush for that, some more fondant, and all of your wafer paper flowers. And I'll meet you guys back here.
Wow.
Ooh, she's gorgeous. All right. Oh, if you guys have any gold and vodka, gold luster dust and vodka, I want you to get that out too, because we can paint one or a few of our flowers gold. And you can keep your black petal dust out too. We want to dust our flowers a little bit to give them more of a dead vibe. Okay, I'm gonna lift you guys up. 1 second. Oops, sorry about that. Oh my gosh, she looks so pretty. I can't stand it. Make sure you have some fondant near you. Give me a verbal cue when you guys are ready to move to start doing the next step. So I'll get your flowers and some vodka and some, keep your gold luster powder dust as well as your black handy, a little parchment. We're going to pick one flower, preferably one of the light pink ones or one of your white ones like this, and we're going to paint it gold. And then all of the red ones we want to dust with a little black around them. Give them a hint of black. Grab another couple paint brushes. Thank you, Charlene. Do you like the other girls? They're so awesome, aren't they, Charlene? Charlene is saying that this cake looks amazing. She's one of the 3 viewers watching us right now. If you guys have any of these sort of little cups, I like to use these. You can get them at, I have a Smart and Final near me, but like a restaurant supply store, you know, like when you have to-go food, they put little sauces in here. So these are great for powders because you can put them in here and then the vodka dries and then you still have a cup of the powder. You can store it. So if you have it, if not, just use your paint well and put a little bit of gold luster if you have it. And I always keep my melted, I just keep it, put a plastic wrap over it, I just keep it in this cup. You can just remelt it. So I'm cheap. You guys know I like my coupons, right? I don't like to waste money. So I get these little cups and I have like gold and silver and other petal dust. So we are ready to sort of zhuzh up our flowers and place them on our girl and we will be done. So I put a little, are we all here? I want to wait to make sure everybody's still here. Okay, I see Felicia, I see Keelan, I see Keisha, I see Tisha, I see Pilar, oh, and I see Diana. Okay, so when you're mixing luster dust, you need vodka, and I like to use Everclear. It's like 190 proof. And I'm really just going to put a little bit because I want to create more of a paste. I don't even know if you guys can see. It's really thick. And I'm going to take this one of my light pink ones, or if you've done, so pick one. If you've done one in white, that would be great too. And I'm going to literally color the whole thing. And if some of the pink still shows, that's fine. But I want it mostly gold because I want it very clear. Touch of gold on the cake. I'm getting into all the crevices. And just all the way around. You can see my little gold. And it dries really fast too, this Everclear. They don't sell this 190 proof in California. I guess it's against the law. So I found it online. I want to say it was called winechateau.com. And they shipped it to me, so, you know, they shipped it. And I said, thank you. And I got 2 really big bottles of it. Okay, so that's one. It's not completely solid gold. You can still see some of the peach, but I think it's gold enough and it looks pretty. So now with the black, I think I'm not going to touch I have 2 peach flowers, or pink flowers, I guess. This is pink. I have 2 little ones here, and I'm going to leave those the way that they are. But I want to give this big red one a hint of black, like all around it. So I'm going to take my charcoal black petal dust, and I'm going to dry brush this. And I'm not going to wet it. What did I do with my other? Lord. I'm missing a paintbrush. Hold on. Hold, please. I had it. I swear. Okay, I got it. So this one is a little, you can see it's a little fluffier. I like that for dusting. Not that I do a lot of dusting, you know. Flowers are really not my lane. But you can also do this with an airbrush machine. Just sort of gently spritz it with some black airbrush. But put a little on my brush, dab it off, and then color in and give it a little bit of a morbid look. And I'm being so random with it, you guys. I'm not being any kind of particular fashion. So feel free to just sort of give your flowers a little black dusting. You could even if you feel like adding a little more gold, I mean, do it. Why not? Do what works, you know, your artistic expression. Trying to tone down some of that red a little bit. You can see that. The airbrush machine works beautiful too. And it also sort of softens up the petals a little bit and sort of crinkles them in a way that makes, I don't know, makes them look like they're kind of dead. Like wilted or shriveled. I don't think you can really go wrong if you stay in the same sort of color scheme. You can have whatever flower you want on here. So I'm going to dust a couple of my other little red flowers black. Give it a little hit the edges where my ink kind of got weird. Color that in. See, it was meant to be that way. I take mistakes, you guys. Like, I don't try to stress about things that are not, like, perfect, because life is not perfect, yeah? So don't stress out about sort of imperfections. Unless it's, like, really bad, then obviously, like, a leaning, bulging cake. That you gotta fix. Okay, and I'll leave some of the other ones as they are. And I think we're ready to place our, so before we melt our chocolate, we just want to get sort of an idea where we want and how we want to pattern our flowers around her hair. So our flowers are going to be coming down here and resting on this ledge. So nothing below the ledge, obviously. So, for instance, I might want to put one here. Maybe I want to put the red one here. I want to put a black one on top. Let me lift my... But definitely, because it's all black, I definitely want to make sure I couple that with something light, and definitely like one of these little red ones too. So like a little red one next to that black. And I want that black to sit up more on top of her head. And I have to fill in, or maybe it can come off of her head like this. That's good. And I have that fondant backing. So with a little bit of melted chocolate, I can get that to stay. Like so. So, I'm going to melt my chocolate in my microwave for about 30 seconds. Don't want to burn it. And then you guys just have a good time arranging your flowers around this portion of her head. Don't be scared to come a little bit above the top tier and give her some height. But she's got a lot of head space right here. I gotta fill in. So I think it's always, well, not always, but most of the time I like to start with the bigger flower. I need to put this in there a little bit longer. And then I sort of fill in with these tiny flowers, like filler flowers, I want to call them. Let's give that a few more seconds. But don't you like that gold? That hint of gold is so gorgeous. And I don't think you need, but you do what you want. But I think just one nice piece of gold is really all she needs. So I've got my melted chocolate. And I'm just going to put some on the back of my flower here. And I'm going to turn it so I can see her. And I'm going to glue her in place. And hold it in place so that the so I have one flower. Position. I think I want to put those two right there. I didn't put these on fondant, but that's all right. They'll still stick. I put a little bit. And put her. Put that one there. Looks good. I'm going to sneak a red one right there. If you need, like if you want some height up here and you want, that's when you add a little bit of fondant and it'll give you a chance to sort of lift your flower. Let me show you once I put this one on. So let's say I wanted to put this one here. Yes? I don't have anywhere to glue it. So what I'll do is I'll take a little bit of fondant ball and I'll glue, put a little chocolate like right there and glue that in place. And then I have somewhere to glue my flower like so. So, wait, do I like that? I don't know. Maybe I like that. So that's just another option. I'm going to take this off right now. I think I'm going to add this one here. Making her flowers. Okay. And then I want to do this. I think I want to put this. No, maybe not. Maybe this one. I gotta get on now. This is serious business, you guys. Where to place the darn flowers? I think I do want to put that one up here. Or maybe the big one. No, too big. Okay, so I'm going to use that little piece of fondant. Put a little bit of melted chocolate. Stick it to the top of my cake. Like so. Add chocolate to the back of this. And how are we going to do it? Glue it in. Glue it to that fondant backing. Now, I think I'll fill in a little black flower here. Love that melted chocolate. And this one I really want it to get in there. How to get it in there. So I'm going to add a little bit of fondant behind this. like so. So I have somewhere, it's kind of off. I'm going to position it. Where do I need it? That's good, right there. So adding, so cold in here, my chocolate is like already solid again. Adding chocolate. And glue it in place. So I think I'll put another red one here. I want to sneak my gold right in there. That would be lovely. Uh-oh, lost it. Right by her cheek. And I have a couple more black ones, but I think I don't need any more. I could fill one here. I'll just put one more little black one. Run it out. And there we have it. She's gorgeous. And I still have an extra black one. I wonder, I think I could paint this one gold too. Can maybe add a little bit more gold. I think I'm going to paint this one gold. Let me give it a hint of gold. Sort of break up some of this black in this section. A little gold over the black. Got too much black happening right here. And there we go, guys. So let's see who's done. Who's ready for show and tell?
Me, Felicia?
Okay, let's see it. Bring her over so we can. Oh, wow. Your red looks really great. Oh, she's gorgeous. She is absolutely gorgeous. The only thing that I see that you could do, and it'd be quite easy for you to touch up, Felicia, is to shade in that white so it's a little more gray and not so white. But you could do that with a little petal dust if you wanted to, or you don't have to. But that's the only thing that I would.
I'm sorry. You bleeped out. I didn't hear you, Mike. I don't know what happened. You bleeped out.
Oh, I was saying the only thing that I can see you just adjusting just a little bit is to sort of blend in this white line a little bit along her side. But
Okay,
you
gotcha.
have to. But that's just so that's not, like in makeup,
Right.
those hard lines. That's the only thing. I think she's absolutely gorgeous, though. I love this little area you have right going on. I can see it like it looks like hair. It's gorgeous. This area, it's absolutely like I can see everything. It's just gorgeous. You did a beautiful job. How'd you feel about it?
Thanks to your help, I feel very good. I think I can paint now.
You did, yes, with a little help, a little guidance from an actual picture from an actual artist.
Exactly, and I just need some good paintbrushes. How about that?
Yes, I do too. I'm still looking for good ones, but I really think, that 50% off coupon with Michael's, we just have to go get new paintbrushes every other month. Who else is ready to show us? Keelan, I see you. How is it? Are you going to show us?
Oh yeah, sorry. So I need to work on my flowers a little bit more.
You need more flowers.
I need more flowers and I need to work on them a little bit more.
Can I take a picture of you? Say cheese.
But I think I'm going to work on them like after this and just kind of fill it in and finish it up.
And those road roses, I know they're a little bit of a pain, but you can see how they just sort of fill in the space. I think she looks gorgeous. How do you feel about it?
No, I absolutely love it. I am this is one of the best cakes I've ever done so
and it's
far.
real cake. It's real cake.
And it's real cake. Yeah, I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy.
Oh, I'm so teary-eyed. I'm so happy you're happy. So yes, make some more flowers and finish it off. You guys can leave these cakes in the refrigerator. I don't know if anybody's going to eat are you guys planning on eating your cakes? You don't want to eat it? Well, the only problem with trying to keep it is that, it is buttercream under there. So unless you have a cool environment, it'll stand for forever in a sense. But eventually, if it gets too warm, it'll start to go south on you.
Can I put mine up for auction on Facebook?
Please do it. Tag me. Tag me, Sit by Kara. Go post. I'm posting. Y'all know I'm posting, right?
Right. I'm gonna try to sell mine. No, not really. I'm gonna give it away.
You're gonna give it away?
Yes.
Yeah, because you guys know next week is Day of the Dead, so you could keep these in your refrigerators, and then go take it to a celebration next week.
Will they last that long?
I think you can even keep it in the freezer. If you have enough freezer space to put this in a box and close the whole box up and wrap it, you can put it in the freezer. And then what you do is 48 hours before you want to eat it, you can take it out and leave it wrapped and transfer it to your refrigerator. And then it'll defrost to refrigeration in that 48 hours. And then you take it out of the box and the wrapping. And any condensation that will happen, it'll happen on the outside of the box. You're like...
And so it won't mess the painting up. So would I wrap it with saran wrap?
No, you take the whole cake and just put the whole cake in a box that closes.
Okay.
Make sure you can get it closed. And then you can wrap it several times the box with saran wrap.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And then put that in the freezer 48 hours before you want it, you take it out and move it to your refrigerator. Give it 2 days to defrost in the refrigerator.
Okay, got you. All right,
Leave it
thank you.
wrapped, though. Leave it wrapped. Let's look at Tisha. Hey, girl. Look at your flowers. I love them. How you feel, Tisha?
I feel great. Like I said, I feel great. I've never made a cake that looked this nice ever.
It's gorgeous.
Thank
It's absolutely gorgeous. You did a wonderful job. You chose to go down though with the flowers, yes, down her
Yes.
hair.
Yes, and my fondant, I mean, like, I still need work on it, but I've never gotten it like this, like, ever. So to have this accomplished was a great feat. I was very, very excited last night when I went to bed, so I was thrilled.
Oh, good.
I'm
Good.
thrilled. I might practice some fondant next Saturday just for no reason, just make a little cake.
Yes.
Just so I can keep myself in practice because this was great.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear it. I'm
Yes.
so happy.
I always
So happy you're happy.
Yeah, I always let it intimidate me, and it was just never was right. And this one was good. This one was great.
And your girl, you did a really great job too with your girl.
I mean, I tried. I'm not an artist, but hey, it looks like a skeleton. That's all we. That's all we wanted.
I see her.
Right.
I think your biggest thing that you probably need to work more on is just the shading and.
Yes. Oh, that's a definite. That's a definite right there.
But this is your first time, right?
Yes. Yes.
So give yourself a hand.
Yeah. Believe me, I am not. In any way, shape, or form, like, oh my God, it's not perfect. No, it's fine.
I love your attitude, Tisha, and I hope that you continue to practice and do fun stuff like this. Finding a picture. You guys now know how to transfer a picture onto your cake. That was easy, yeah? Let's see Pilar. Ooh, I love your girl. She's just amazing. And I can see her hair going down her back, and you painted the flowers.
Oh, that's pretty. Oh, sorry.
You are so amazing at this painting. Oh my gosh, Pilar.
Thank you. I dusted the flower with the black petal dust.
Yeah.
So that it, but I only did one, so I'm so sorry about that.
Well,
And,
maybe you can finish her, make some other flowers, and then you can, because from here on it looks like a finished cake, so you can definitely post that, take a picture, a nice picture of it. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Thank you so much. What, do you like the placing of the flower here?
I don't like it if it's the only flower you're going to use.
Okay.
If you're going to use more flowers, then it's fine because you can fill in and around her. But if you are only going to use one flower, I actually think you shouldn't use any flowers yet, because you painted the flowers in her hair.
Okay.
That unless you have a very small one, like this gold one or something, to just land behind her ear, I think you should either put a lot of flowers on her or just leave her as she is. That's my because I think she's gorgeous, just like that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thanks for hanging with us, Pilar. I know it wasn't as planned as you wanted it to be, but you did a beautiful paint job on her.
Thank you. I learned so much, and I learned so much from everyone too. And you're a fantastic teacher. I can't wait for the next course.
Thank you. Thank you. We got 2 more people to check on.
Okay.
Let's see, Keisha. Can we see yours? Are you done? Or are you still fooling around? Can we take a look? I'm taking pictures.
Still fooling around. 1 second.
Okay, I'm gonna see Diana. Diana, can we see your cake?
flowers, but yeah,
Oh
that's,
my God. I love this big flower on top. I love that. Is that black with gold painted?
yeah, yeah, black with the edges painted gold.
I love it. I think you just need a flower right here underneath that one.
Yeah.
Like maybe a smaller one too? Or were you going to put that one there?
No,
Where were you going to
so
put?
I only have big ones left. So I was just thinking of putting it like right here, going down.
I think that you should get a small one and put it, and I'm pointing to the screen like you can see, and put it right underneath there.
Okay, yeah, like right here.
Yes.
Okay.
How was your cake though? Because you said
Yeah.
it was sweating a lot. How is that now? Is it dried up?
It's really soft. It's dried up, but it's really soft.
Right. But
Yeah,
you're,
the buttercream underneath it's really soft.
yes, it's starting to give way if you touch it too much.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it looks like it's standing up, so as long as you don't fool with it too much, I think it's good. Do you like it? Are you proud of it? Are you happy?
Yeah.
Yay! I am so
Yeah, really. Yeah.
okay. You're our last one, Keisha. We're ready to see it. Here it comes. Da, 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 da. Hey, girl. Ooh, look at your flower on her back. Wow, her flowers are gorgeous. She is hot.
Thank you, Kara. You know, for right here, I was having a hard time with the ribbon roses. So, you know when you told us to cut the teardrop shape?
Yes.
I just put them back in there. in the
Love
middle.
it. You just work it out. I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely gorgeous. I think you did a really wonderful job. I will say too, you need a little more shading around the whites that
Okay.
glow. She's got a little too much glow happening.
Okay.
So sort of get, if you can get in there and sort of get some grayish shading going on. I think blend her out a little bit. I think it'll be great. But I think you did it. How do you feel? It's real cake.
Yes, I feel great about it. Thank you.
Well, I am so happy. I am tickled black. And I really hope that you guys have learned a lot. And I really hope that you will continue to practice these techniques. If you love the paneling method, it's just a matter of continuing to do it, and you'll get better and better and better. If you love the acrylic method, I hope that you continue to do it as well. I'm telling you guys, it saves me so much time. So much time. 7 minutes flat, I can ice a cake. It's really great. Does anybody have any last minute questions? You guys can all unmute yourself and say goodbye and all of that good stuff.
I just want to know the best. I love it. I love it.
So happy to have spent these hours with you. You are not only a fantastic teacher, a fantastic person. So thank you so much for sharing, caring, and you're awesome, Karen.
I love you, Pilar. You're so awesome, too. Thanks for being in class. Mwah. From Mexico. All the way from Mexico. How cool is this, you guys? We've got Mexico in the house. We've got Virginia in the house. That's for you, Keisha, right?
Yes.
Thank
you so much, Kara. Thank you. Thank you.
So welcome. And where's Keelan from?
Miami.
What? We got Miami in the house.
Hot
Miami, and you still did it with buttercream. That's Swiss meringue, right? You might want to alter your buttercream if you have to for your weather, but you did it, and it looks amazing. So thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we've got Felicia from Texas.
Yes, that's me.
You down there with Cake Diva, huh?
Yes.
Gonna be giving her a run now with all these new techniques you got going on.
Okay, you're right. You're right. I'm ahead of the game right now.
All right, I love it. Thanks for joining me, Felicia. I really, really appreciate it. And
No, I appreciate you.
So, last but definitely not least, Diana, thanks so much from Mexico. Thanks for hanging with us. You know, she cut her own acrylic, guys. She's like that talented.
Thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. I always thought that I would never get a class with you or with anyone else because you're all in the States. So having an online class here, it's amazing.
It's amazing. We'll be doing more. I think I'm ahead of the game, and watch there'll be other people starting to do it. We know who did it first, right?
Okay, so how do we sign up for the VIP club?
Yeah.
Right on the VIP club. All right, I'll work on that, and I'll let you know. You'll be the first one. All right, ladies. With that, we are 10 minutes early. Go enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and happy caking to you all. Please, please, please take a really great picture and throw it up on my Sif by Kara Facebook page and let the world know how happy you are.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a great day.